Everyone that has spoken, mostly everyone has touched on what I feel. I'm a performing artist. My name is Nasser Evan. I've supported the station since its inception because I relocated here to Washington the same year. When we moved to Washington, we had no television. WPFW was our means of communication, of learning what the issues were, but most importantly, since I am a jazz musician, it was the seed for what I do. I heard the music 24/7, along with information. See, I believe that there is a way that we can have it all. Yes. I believe that the bottom line is the music is jazz. I don't like to call it jazz, but this is our music. And it is the only station in the area now that promotes jazz, broadcasts jazz, and I get offended when I hear music that really can be heard on other stations. It's really, I'm going to move fast. Speaking to your issue of the youth, jazz is a music of protest. Our music is protest and therefore it is progressive. And so I, in my house, personally, have always used the music to bring to my children. My children know the music. My youngest son plays the music. He was raised listening to WPFW 24/7. He came to Howard University preschool when he was 3 years old. They played WPFW in the mornings. And the young folks at 3 years old knew what this music was. WPFW supports me also as an instructor. I've been playing for 50 years, but I also teach. I teach at Peabody in Baltimore. This music and this station supports the young people I work with, because in order for them to hear my examples, I send them to WPFW. There are people in this room who have also brought to this earth young people who was raised on this music, play this music in New York, and I'm speaking of Ellen Carter. You have Fred Falls in the audience, who had the youth jazz ensemble here, of which many young people came through and learned this music and was supported by WPFW. His students, my students and son, Ellen's sons, they're all in New York. They started here, they're professionally playing music, jazz. So I say, from my heart, families have fights. Let's find out what we can do as a community to make sure that the music survives and that we get the information out to folks that I need the information too, because you hear information on WPFW that you will not hear elsewhere. Tom Porter. And so I'm saying to you that, okay, we make mistakes like what was said, but I think most folks here are having problems with not what you did, but how you did it. Yes. I had an interview set up on Monday night to promote an engagement of mine last week with Rusty Hassan. He got switched to Monday night, except it was on Tuesday night. He got switched to Thursday night. So then Tom Porter, not Tom, I'm sorry, Willard Jenkins was on, and so we decided to do it on Monday night. Then he left and had, because his situation changed, and I won't say how. And then Brother Ah, and we still did it. We still did it. I was talking with Brother Ah, and I spoke to him the night when I heard that he was going to not be on the air. He told me he was informed on the way to the studio. So this has to be fixed. We have to be loving towards each other, and we have to solve this issue. Thank you.
What we've been listening to is an institution. An institution. I got a thing about, my father told me, he says, quality takes time. And I've been listening to WPFW since Pointing the Teeth. Anybody remember that? Yeah. That's a long time. Almost since the inception. Okay? Most of the questions that have been asked that were on my path. But I'm not confident that you're going to answer the one that hasn't been asked. Okay? Not going to waste any time. And I'd appreciate it if you'd be specific. Everyone would like to know, who is it that helped you put this plan together?
Yes!
For a period of time, I had the assistance of an interim program director. You asked me who helped put the plan together. I'm answering.
I'm sorry, we don't have the time. We're going to give everybody 1 minute, and I literally mean that because they are looking at me angry, the security guards. We got to wrap it up. We'll have other town hall meetings. Please, 1 minute. We can't accept gratuities. Go ahead.
I'm a 20-year supporter of WPFW. I know I've given at least $10,000 to the station. I did it because I love the station. And so whatever I say it out loud. And there's a program, and so I'm just going to ask you about 2 programming decisions that you made. Could have asked about thousands, but I'm going to ask you about 2. Tom Porter's Jazz and Justice Program, which is a program that fits the mission of Pacifica because it speaks to a underserved community, and it also brings voices to the air that you can't hear anywhere else. And I can prove that. In Egypt right now, the protesters that are protesting against the government has found out that the Muslim Brotherhood is in bed with the United States government and the state of Israel. Everybody in the world is surprised about that. But WPFW on this is not, because Samir Amin was on Don Floyd's show a year ago and told us that. And so, in your wisdom, you took a significant program off the air like that. And what did you replace it with? I listened yesterday during those 2 hours. There was a pre-recorded program, Eco Shock, and a pre-recorded program from the vault. And this is doing pledge drive, in which I was told is one of the most significant pledge drives that the station has ever had. Do you know how much money those 2 programs raised yesterday? Not one single dime. 0. So you are jeopardizing the financial health of this station by the decisions you make. And you want us to buy it? You want us to go along with that? How you going to justify that? Taking an income-producing show, a significant show off the air, and you put 2 pre-recorded programs on that's not raising any money. That's financially malfeasance. That's right. And then lastly, the morning brew. You talk about there were music programs on in the morning. And there's a music programming element to the morning brew. Why did you leave Katia still on in the morning with the morning brew? Why did you leave Marcelo Thomas on with the morning brew? Why did you leave Larry World on with the morning brew? And the last thing I want to ask, and I want you to answer, I give money to the station, I pay your salary directly. Tell this audience how much money you make, because I know how much the president makes. Tell us how much you make.
To answer your first question about Tom Porter,
Yes.
Tom Porter was offered a position, a show, a spot in the schedule. and he declined.
I wasn't planning to speak, but there were a couple of things that were said tonight that I know for a fact are absolutely, positively untrue. One of the things is this. Oh, John, will you tell them they want to know what your salary is?
I'm not going to divulge it.
Okay, so there were two. There were two things that were said tonight that I know personally are absolutely positively untrue.
The rest is true?
One of them, I can't justify that, but that's the reason that I'm up here speaking, to correct what I know is untrue. Number one, we had a meeting at the station very recently. Was it Saturday, guys, about these changes? And when you kept saying, we did this and we did that, I asked you point blank, John, if you would share with us exactly who were involved in the process of making this decision for the changes in the program. And you said to me, and I quote, I did. And I said that I suggest you not say we, but simply say that I did. Number two.
And let me be clear about it. Ultimately, I'm responsible.
We know.
I don't deny that.
I was very specific about my question.
I'm trying to be specific with my answer too.
Okay.
The question was, did anyone help me with the revision of the program schedule? And the truth is that I did have assistance on that. I had the assistance of an interim program director.
Okay.
But I am ultimately responsible. I take responsibility for it. I own it.
Okay. Number two, and actually three things. Number two, with regard to what he just said, I personally spoke to the interim program director who resigned, and the reason that he quoted as resigning is that he said he had nothing to do with the changes that were made to the program. Number two, John, I heard you say how much you respect Katia. I know for a fact that your public affairs or news director asked that she be included in the mix, and according to your news director, you said you did not want her to be on the air.